The Galactic Assembly stood as a monumental symbol, the culmination of millennia of interstellar diplomacy and governance. Perched within the heart of the galaxy on a celestial station orbiting the radiant star of Helen, it served as the neutral nexus where hundreds of diverse species convened, striving to maintain peace and order across the universe. On this momentous day, the council chamber hummed with anticipation, for a special session had been convened. Beyond the routine matters of trade and conflict resolution, the council would determine the new chairperson, a pivotal figure tasked with administering galactic law and mediating between conflicting alien interests. The selection process, unique to this cycle, eschewed traditional methods of votes and debates in favor of a more demanding trial, a test of logic and intelligence devised by the foremost minds of several advanced civilizations. At the heart of the chamber loomed a massive holographic display, projecting a three-dimensional puzzle of staggering complexity. Crafted to challenge not just intellect but the ability to perceive multiple dimensions and manipulate intricate structures mentally, the puzzle defied easy solution. It demanded not only spatial arrangement but also temporal sequencing, with layers that moved independently, exerting cascading effects upon each other. No one had yet deciphered its enigmas since its introduction earlier that day. As the delegates readied themselves for the challenges ahead, murmurs swirled about potential leaders and the civilizations they represented. It was a day fraught with high stakes and lofty aspirations, as each council member pondered the proceedings that could reshape the governance of their galaxy. Meanwhile, a group of humans entered the chamber, not diplomats or seasoned politicians, but students participating in an educational exchange program aimed at fostering understanding and cooperation between Earth and the established members of the Galactic Assembly. Among them was Jamie, a young boy whose boundless curiosity mirrored the vastness of the cosmos itself. Accompanied by their teacher, Miss Hargrove, the students observed the proceedings from a designated observer area, their eyes wide with wonder as Miss Hargrove elucidated the intricacies of council dynamics and the roles of different alien species within its ranks. As the session unfolded, with various species presenting their cases and debating agendas in a symphony of languages and gestures, Jamie found himself drawn not to the speeches but to the central puzzle, the ultimate test of leadership awaiting its champion. "What's that?" Jamie inquired, pointing towards the shifting holographic form. "That, Jamie," Miss Hargrove replied, her voice tinged with reverence and excitement, "is a very special test, a symbol of leadership, strength, and wisdom. It's designed to be exceedingly challenging, meant to assess the intelligence and problem-solving abilities of potential leaders." Jamie nodded, his mind already racing with possibilities. For him, the puzzle represented not just a conundrum to be solved, but a beacon of aspiration, an emblem of the leadership he hoped to one day embody. Throughout the session, he oscillated between observing the delegates' deliberations and contemplating the enigmatic puzzle, his imagination ablaze with the promise of understanding its mysteries. As the session drew to a close for a break, Jamie's thoughts fixated on the holographic puzzle, his young mind ablaze with the thrill of its challenge. As the members of the Galactic Assembly dispersed into smaller groups, engaging in discussions about the day's events and the impending leadership test, the usually structured and orderly chamber took on a more relaxed atmosphere. Delegates shared insights and speculations about who might best solve the puzzle and ascend to the chairperson's role. Meanwhile, the puzzle remained the focal point of the chamber, its intricate layers continuously shifting and realigning in a mesmerizing display of lights and shadows. Guarded by a few council security members, it stood as a symbol of intellectual prowess and leadership potential. Jamie, whose curiosity about the puzzle had only grown, persuaded Miss Hargrove to let him get a closer look during the break. With the permission of a security officer, Jamie approached the puzzle display, his eyes alight with fascination. The device was unlike anything he had ever seen, comprising multiple layers that independently rotated and intersected. Each layer was composed of various geometric shapes that could be manipulated through a series of gestures. To everyone's surprise, the security officer explained that the council had decided to open the puzzle challenge to anyone in the chamber during the break, a gesture of inclusivity and acknowledgement that the best ideas sometimes come from unexpected sources. Encouraged by this opportunity, Jamie stepped up to the console, his mind racing with possibilities. Observing closely, Jamie watched as a couple of delegates attempted the puzzle, only to walk away puzzled and humbled by its complexity. When the area cleared, Jamie hesitantly approached the puzzle and then, with a burst of confidence, began manipulating the holographic layers. Guided by his innate knack for spatial relationships developed through hours of gaming and puzzle solving back home on Earth, Jamie's fingers moved deftly across the controls. As Jamie engaged with the puzzle, the assembled delegates gradually took notice. Conversations dwindled, and whispers of astonishment circulated through the crowd as Jamie's movements brought the puzzle closer to a resolution. The security officer, initially amused by Jamie's attempt, watched with a mix of surprise and admiration as the young human navigated the complexities of the puzzle with ease. Completely absorbed in the task at hand, Jamie's focus narrowed to the shifting components of the puzzle. With each movement, he brought the holographic layers closer to alignment, drawing the attention of everyone in the chamber. Finally, with a gentle swipe of his hand, Jamie clicked the last piece into place, and the puzzle emitted a soft, harmonious chime, signaling completion. The chamber erupted into a cacophony of sounds, cheers, gasps of disbelief, and a swirling vortex of voices expressing admiration and astonishment. The security officer approached Jamie with a broad smile, congratulating him on his remarkable achievement. Miss Hargrove rushed to Jamie's side, her voice thick with emotion, praising him for his incredible feat. Amidst the jubilation, Jamie remained modest, simply stating that he had seen how it should go. His groundbreaking achievement had not only solved a puzzle that had stumped the best minds in the galaxy, but had also captured the imagination of all who witnessed it. Amidst the clamor for more information, questions swirled. Who was this child? How did he accomplish such a feat? And what did it mean for the selection of the new chairperson? Council leaders hastily convened, recognizing that this unexpected event had thrown their planned proceedings into disarray. News of Jay's success spread rapidly, reaching even the distant corners of the galaxy as the session was live-streamed across countless worlds. Suddenly, Earth, often regarded as a lesser member of the Galactic Council due to its relative newness and inexperience, found itself thrust into the universal spotlight, all thanks to one young boy's unique perspective on an ostensibly insurmountable challenge. Amid the chaos and confusion erupting in the chamber, Jamie was gently ushered away from the central console by Miss Hargrove and the security officer, both keenly aware of the sensitive nature of the situation. They wanted to ensure Jamie wasn't overwhelmed by the sudden surge of attention and the barrage of questions from curious council members and media personnel who had begun to converge on the scene. Retreating to a quieter corner of the chamber, several high-ranking members of the Galactic Council convened an emergency session to discuss the implications of Jamie's achievement. It was an unprecedented scenario. Never before had an outsider, let alone a child from a newly inducted species, solved the leadership puzzle. The rules of selection were clear. The puzzle was a test for potential leaders. However, they hadn't considered the possibility of a non-candidate solving it, much less during an observational visit. Meanwhile, Jamie sat with his classmates, who buzzed with excitement and pride, repeatedly asking him how he did it. With a shrug, Jamie attempted to explain his thought process, likening the puzzle to those 3D puzzles his dad enjoyed. I just tried to make all the pieces fit where it felt right, he said, his explanation doing little to curb the awe of his peers. In the council's emergency meeting, the debate raged. Some argued that Jamie's completion of the puzzle should be dismissed as a fluke, irrelevant to the council's procedures. Others suggested it demonstrated a need to reassess the criteria for leadership and participation in the council. One of the more forward-thinking members, an alien from a species known for their philosophical intellect, proposed an intriguing perspective. This child has perhaps unwittingly shown us that potential for leadership and wisdom does not solely reside within established norms and forms. What he has achieved today could be seen as an invitation to expand our understanding and inclusion of all beings in the galactic process. As the council members deliberated, news of the event spread throughout the galaxy, sparking discussions on various planets about the roles of youth and outsiders in political processes. On Earth, the news caused a sensation, and Jamie became an overnight sensation, hailed as a prodigy and a symbol of human potential. In the observer area, the scene buzzed with excitement and anticipation, as the unexpected turn of events promised to reshape the very fabric of the Galactic Council's proceedings. Council officials approached Miss Kensington, requesting permission to formally invite Jaden to address the council. They explained that many members were eager to hear from him about his experience and perspective on solving the puzzle. After ensuring that Jaden was comfortable with the idea, Miss Kensington agreed, and arrangements were made for a special session where Jaden would be honored and given a chance to speak. The implications of his actions were immense, not just for Jaden but for the entire human race. They were suddenly thrust into a spotlight that illuminated their potential in a council long dominated by older, more established civilizations. This was a turning point, one that might redefine humanity's role within the Galactic Council and perhaps the broader galaxy. The special session of the Galactic Council was convened much sooner than anyone anticipated, reflecting the urgency and significance of Jaden's unexpected accomplishment. The Council's Grand Chamber, usually reserved for formal declarations and significant debates, was rearranged to accommodate this unique event. At the center, a small podium was set up for Jaden, placing him at the heart of galactic attention. Jaden, dressed in a simple, clean suit provided by Miss Kensington to mark the occasion, stood somewhat nervously beside the podium. The vastness of the chamber and the numerous eyes fixed upon him were intimidating, yet there was an undeniable excitement bubbling within him. Miss Kensington, standing close by, offered reassuring smiles and gentle nods of encouragement. As the session commenced, the president of the council, a venerable figure known for his wisdom and balanced judgment, introduced Jaden with a tone of respect and curiosity usually reserved for distinguished diplomats and scholars. Ladies, gentlemen, and esteemed beings of the council, today we stand at a pivotal moment in the history of our collective governance, he began. We are here to acknowledge and learn from a young human, Jaden, whose sharp intellect and fresh perspective have reminded us of the vast potential that lies within the seemingly improbable. The chamber echoed with a soft murmur of assent as the president gestured towards Jaden to approach the microphone. With each step, Jaden felt the weight of the moment, but also a growing sense of purpose. Clearing his throat, he began to speak, his voice initially a whisper gradually growing steadier as he continued. Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you to all the members of the council for this honor, Jaden began. I didn't really understand how important this puzzle was when I tried to solve it. I just thought it looked fun and challenging. In school, we learn about how everyone can make a difference, no matter how small they are, young, or even from a new place like Earth. He paused, looking around at the array of species and faces watching him, their expressions ranging from intrigued to supportive. I guess what I did shows that sometimes you don't have to be the biggest or the oldest to solve big problems. Maybe sometimes being different or young like me helps see things in new ways. As Jaden concluded his speech, the room erupted in applause, a sound of genuine appreciation and acknowledgement that resonated deeply with all present. The leaders and representatives of various advanced civilizations were not only applauding Jaden's cleverness in solving the puzzle, but also the broader message he conveyed. A message about potential, inclusivity, and the value of fresh perspectives. Following Jaden's speech, the president of the council announced the formation of a new committee aimed at integrating younger voices into the council's deliberations, calling it the Jaden Initiative. This committee would explore how youthful insights and ideas could be systematically included in solving galactic issues. As the session concluded, Jaden was surrounded by delegates eager to converse with him, asking questions about Earth, his interests, and how he viewed various universal challenges. Miss Kensington watched with pride, knowing that Jaden's experience would not only change his life, but might also alter the course of human involvement in galactic affairs. The story of the young Earth boy who solved the Galactic Council's puzzle spread far and wide, inspiring discussions about potential and inclusivity across countless worlds, marking a significant chapter in the annals of the Council's history. The aftermath of Jaden's success at the Galactic Council initiated a series of changes both within the Council itself and back on Earth. The media coverage of his achievements had made him a household name, and the implications of his feat were discussed in educational institutions, political assemblies, and dinner tables across the world. In the days following the special session, the Council worked diligently to formalize the Jaden Initiative, tasking this new committee with exploring ways to include younger generations in the decision-making processes of the galaxy, leveraging their unique perspectives to shape a brighter future for all. The initiative aimed to foster innovative solutions to age-old problems, seen as a groundbreaking step toward making the council more inclusive and dynamic. It recognized that wisdom and insight could come from any age and any species. Meanwhile, on Earth, Jaden returned to his school as a hero. His school organized a special assembly to celebrate his achievement, where he shared his experiences with his classmates and teachers. The local government also recognized him, presenting him with a commendation for his contributions to galactic diplomacy. His story was used to inspire students worldwide to engage with STEM fields, highlighting the impact these disciplines could have beyond Earth. The response wasn't just limited to accolades. Educational policymakers began discussing new curricula focused more on critical thinking and problem-solving skills, inspired by Jaden's approach to the puzzle. They argued that preparing students for the challenges of the future, both on Earth and in interstellar communities, required a shift toward more dynamic and interactive learning environments. In the broader public discourse, Jaden's achievement spurred a renewed interest in space exploration and interstellar diplomacy. People began to see space not just as a frontier for the few, but as a domain where diverse contributions were valued. This shift in perception helped garner support for more ambitious space programs aimed at increasing human participation in galactic affairs. Back at the Galactic Council, the J Initiative quickly became a cornerstone of a new educational outreach program. This program aimed to connect the Council with educational institutions across the galaxy, organizing exchanges and interactive sessions where young minds could present their ideas directly to Council members. The initiative wasn't just about listening to younger voices, but actively engaging them in governance, encouraging a culture of inclusivity. This new approach was met with enthusiasm by member species, many of whom began to implement similar programs within their own governments. The ripple effects of Jaden's simple act of solving a puzzle were profound, setting the stage for a more collaborative and inclusive galactic community. As these developments unfolded, Jaden continued his studies, now with a focus on astropolitics, a field he had become intensely interested in following his experiences. He became a young ambassador for Earth, often invited to speak at various forums and involved in youth advisory panels for the Council. The impact of a single moment at the Galactic Council had grown into a movement, one that not only highlighted the potential of the young, but also illustrated how a small act of curiosity and courage could change the galaxy. The legacy of Jaden's interaction with the Galactic Council continued to unfold, bringing about significant changes not only within the Council itself, but also across the entire galaxy. The JY initiative had proven to be a catalyst for embracing youth in leadership and decision-making roles, fostering a new era of inclusivity and innovation. Several months after Jaden's surprising solve, the Galactic Council organized its first-ever Youth Galactic Forum, an event inspired by the J Initiative. Young representatives from various planets, including Jaden, gathered at the Council's headquarters to discuss and provide insights on several critical issues facing the galaxy. The event was live-streamed across countless worlds, allowing billions to witness the capability and creativity of the next generation. During the forum, Jaden took part in panel discussions addressing topics ranging from environmental sustainability in space to the ethical implications of interstellar travel and colonization. His contributions were insightful, reflecting his continued education and growing understanding of galactic issues. His presence and articulate speeches did more than just represent Earth. They symbolized the potential of young minds to contribute meaningfully to complex discussions. Back on Earth, the impact of Jaden's achievement had transformed educational policies, leading to the integration of more practical, problem-solving-oriented curricula. Schools began to prioritize real-world applications of science and math, encouraging students to engage with current global and interstellar problems from a young age. This shift in educational focus aimed to prepare a generation that was not only knowledgeable but also equipped to deal with the challenges of an increasingly interconnected galaxy. In recognition of his role in fostering these changes, Jaden was awarded the Galactic Medal of Vision, one of the highest honors bestowed by the Council, traditionally reserved for those who have made significant contributions to peace and progress across the galaxy. The ceremony, held at the Council's Grand Chamber, was attended by key figures from multiple species, reflecting the unity and diversity of the Council's members. During his acceptance speech, Jaden reflected on his journey from solving the puzzle to standing as a symbol of change and potential. When I approached that puzzle, I did not realize the journey it would begin or the doors it would open. Not just for me, but for all young people across the galaxy, he said. This medal is not just for me. It's for every young individual out there who dreams of making a difference. As the event concluded, the president of the council announced the establishment of an annual scholarship in Jaden's name, aimed at supporting students from underrepresented planets who showed potential in science and diplomacy. This scholarship would provide resources for these students to attend prestigious institutions and participate in council activities, ensuring that the doors Jaden had helped open would remain wide open for future generations. The story of Jaden, the young Earth boy who solved the Galactic Council's puzzle, had grown into a galactic narrative of empowerment and opportunity. His actions had not only reshaped his future, but had also sparked a broader movement toward a more inclusive and innovative galactic community, where the voices of the young were not only heard but actively sought and celebrated.